Hi again. Right, one final video. So, like I said, a couple of funny stories. So, firstly, what I said about the little shout out to OG with the Pink Panther thing. I started making a joke on Newman's channel and numerous other things about these women called Betty. Because where I come from, when you talk about sweaty Betty, it can either mean boobs or something else. So that was a character created, like saying to him was a big wind up, as he got his hands full with sweaty Betty. But also I said, oh, there's another Betty, but I can't tell you her name. It's too naughty. Well, I'm not saying it on the stream. I don't want to get anybody into trouble, but I'm pretty sure I can just tell you this joke here. So basically, back in the Stone Age, when I was a kid, for a few years, we used to go on a family holiday to Cornwall, which is the bottom end of the map in England. It's right down south. It's a beautiful place. All like shells on the outside of shops and fishing boats and all whatnot. Really, really pretty. Anyway, we used to stay in these chalets that were specially designed for disabled children because I had a ramp outside and all whatnot. Anyway, so it was our family plus two family friends, and my mother and this one friend decided to play a prank on the father. And there was this woman who she takes you around, and she showed us all where after the chalets there's like a little shop and a pub, and it had a family room for the kids and all this lot. And she was telling us about, what's open when and all the like, but he was parking the car, van, whatever it was at the time, and unloading the suitcase and everything, so he missed it. So then, as a prank, said to him, go and find this woman and she'll tell you all what you need to know. And he said, okay. And they said, ask for Mrs. Swallows. I'm sure you're already well ahead of me with the joke now, but he wasn't. And they said her first name is Betty. Go and ask for a Mrs. Swallows. So idiot goes traipsing off, finds the woman, lets her tell him all about the keys and, hand the chalet back as you found it, or blah blah blah. And at the end of it, he said to her, thank you very much, Mrs. Swallows. And she just looked at him, gone out, and said, my name isn't Swallows, it's Betty Moon. Which is nearly a joke in itself. But he came back, walking all the way back, with a face like a thunder, because he could take a joke when it was on someone else, not really so much when it was on him. And he went mad at them and said, you got it wrong. Her name was Betty Moon. By which part they are like creased up, falling about laughing. Couldn't believe that he actually fell for this, and it took quite a while for the penny to drop. And I realised what he'd actually done. So that's why when I'm on Newman Stream and I'm messing around, joking, that's where the story of the Bettys come from. Right, so funny story number 2. In a previous video, I had actually said about this time when Jay was wheeling me home and cut through this bit of pavement where there's bushes either side, and it had been raining. And without warning, he suddenly said, something touched me. So I laughed and I said, it wasn't me. And he said, no, it was wet. So I said, definitely not me. And he was saying, no, you fool, it was the bushes. And because it just sounded funny to me at the time, I was going to actually go back there and film it and say to you all, just as a joke, this is Jay's bush. But by the time I wanted to do it, the council had been round and chopped it all back. But it reminded me of a funny story. Like years and years ago, before I ever even met him, my previous partner I was with, I was married. And we went round to his mother's. And he was big into horse racing at the time. So he's there reading the newspaper, fully engrossed in it. And his auntie was sat in the room. She suddenly, without any warning, said to his mother, "Oh, you haven't seen my bush, have you?" And I'm thinking, don't you dare. But he never even looked up. So I'm just sitting there quiet, letting her carry on. Oh, well, you know, I've got this new bush. She meant a lavender bush. She'd obviously been to the garden shop, treated herself to this lavender bush and put in the garden. But it's just him at the time and his mate who he used to play cards with always took everything like that the wrong way on purpose, you know, loved that kind of joke. And I couldn't believe he didn't even look up out of the paper, because after she was saying about, "You haven't seen this bush," she said to his mother, "You must come round and smell it. It smells gorgeous." And I'm thinking, oh dear God. And I'm like nearly dying inside, but he still didn't look up. He was far too engrossed with his newspaper. And it wasn't until we got outside that I said to him, "I'm surprised you didn't react to any of that." And then when I told him, he got annoyed at me and saying, "Oh, thanks, Mr. Perler there. I could have really gone in on with that joke." So I just thought I'd share it with you, because to me it was just really funny. It just reminded me at the time. Right, this video is getting a bit long now, so I'm going to cut it here. So, as always, much love to everyone. Thank you for watching. Take care. And I'll be back when I've got anything else new to show you. Bye for now.